Have you ever met someone and felt like you were meant to cross paths, like something bigger than you was pulling you together? Carl Jung believed that when two souls meet, it's never just by chance. It's a spark, a chemical reaction, a shift in the universe that leaves neither person the same. But here's the real question. When this energy stirs something deep inside us, what happens next? Does it push us towards self-discovery? Does it shake up everything we thought we knew? And why do some connections, no matter how much time passes, feel impossible to forget? Let's unpack the Jungian mystery of soul connections, where psychology meets destiny, and every encounter has the power to transform us. Think about it. Every person carries their own energy, their own history, their own wounds and dreams. And when two of these energies collide, that's where the magic, or sometimes the chaos, begins. It's like two planets drifting through space, suddenly locking into each other's orbit. They might spin in harmony, or they might crash and explode. Either way, the meeting changes them. As he famously wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Jung believed that relationships, whether friendships, romantic connections, or even deep intellectual bonds, are opportunities for profound transformation. He saw human interactions as a catalyst for psychological growth, much like how chemical reactions lead to new substances. Carl Jung saw these connections as more than just random encounters. He believed our unconscious mind knows when we meet someone who has something to teach us, someone who mirrors a hidden part of ourselves. And that's why certain people feel strangely familiar, why some relationships feel fated, and why, no matter how much we resist, some souls are just magnetized to each other. What if every deep connection you've ever had, every moment where you felt drawn to someone in a way you couldn't explain, was actually a chemical reaction of the soul? According to Carl Jung, that's exactly what happens when two personalities meet. It's not just an exchange of words or glances, it's an alchemical process, a fusion of energies that transforms both people forever. Jung saw human connection as a kind of soul alchemy, a process where two psyches mix like elements in a laboratory, reacting, evolving, and sometimes even combusting. He described this transformation in Modern Man in Search of a Soul. And often, it is through our relationships, through these deep, undeniable collisions of energy, that we undergo the most intense transformation. To become, in the Jungian sense, is not just to grow, but to integrate the hidden, uncharted aspects of ourselves. When two souls connect, they do not simply coexist. They engage in a process of mutual revelation, exposing the depths of each other's psyche in ways that solitude never could. Imagine two metals exposed to intense heat. Separately, they retain their original form, unchanged by time. But when brought together under the right conditions, they fuse, creating something entirely new, something stronger, more complex, and irreversible. This is what happens when souls meet. The connection ignites something within us, forcing us to see ourselves more clearly, our strengths, our fears, our desires, and the hidden truths we often refuse to acknowledge. Whether through love, friendship, or even conflict, such encounters shift something at our core. They challenge us, awaken us, and sometimes even break us, only to reshape us into a fuller version of who we are meant to be. To become is not simply to change. It is to uncover the deepest layers of the self, a process catalyzed by the souls we are fated to meet. Jung believed that relationships, whether friendships, romantic connections, or even deep intellectual bonds, are opportunities for profound transformation. He saw human interactions as a catalyst for psychological growth, much like how chemical reactions lead to new substances. Carl Jung believed that understanding the soul, what he called the psyche, wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It was a necessity. He once said, "The whole world hangs on a thread, and that thread is the human psyche." In other words, the way we think, feel, and interact with the world shapes everything. Our relationships, our decisions, even history itself. That's why he created what's often called the map of the soul, a guide to understanding the different layers of our inner world so that we don't get lost in it. Because let's be real, life throws us into connections that shake us, change us, even break us. But why do some people feel so familiar, as if we've known them forever? Why do certain encounters feel meant to be? Jung would say, it's because these connections awaken something in us. They pull at different layers of our psyche. Let's break down Jung's map of the soul in a way that not only makes sense, but also helps us understand why certain people shake us to our core. Because when two souls collide, it's not just about chemistry, it's about what's happening beneath the surface, deep in the psyche. The external world, the stage where it all begins. The external world encompasses everything beyond us, the society we navigate, the rules we abide by, and the experiences that shape our perception of reality. It is the realm of culture, relationships, and external forces that continuously mold us. Yet, as Jung suggested, our engagement with this world is deeply intertwined with our inner landscape. When we encounter someone who profoundly impacts us, it may feel like destiny, as if the universe has deliberately placed them in our path. But in truth, it is our psyche recognizing something in them, something familiar, something we have been unconsciously seeking. It is as if a hidden longing within us suddenly awakens, a silent part of our soul calling out in recognition. This is it. Because this is, in a deeper sense, a destined connection, not in a narrow, superstitious way, but in the broader Jungian sense. It is the moment when all the senses of the soul fully awaken, recognizing what has long been missing and responding with undeniable certainty. The ego, the identity we think we are. The ego is our conscious mind, the I we identify with. It's the storyteller of our lives, the part of us that says, "This is who I am." But here's the catch, the ego is limited. It only knows what it has been taught, what it has experienced directly. When we encounter someone who challenges our beliefs, who pulls us towards something unfamiliar, yet deeply compelling, it's because they are speaking to something beyond the ego. Jung saw this as a necessary process. Sometimes we need to break beyond the walls of our limited identity to truly grow. When two souls collide, the ego is the first thing to be shaken. It's why we feel resistance, why we feel drawn to certain people, but also afraid of them. They disrupt our carefully constructed self-image. The persona. The persona is the mask we wear to fit into society. It's the version of ourselves that we show to the world, curated, controlled, and often inauthentic. We all have one. It's how we navigate social expectations, how we present ourselves in different roles, at work, in friendships, in relationships. But here's the thing. Real connections don't happen at the level of the persona. They happen underneath it. That's why, when we meet someone who sees through our mask, who speaks to something raw and real within us, it can be terrifying. Jung believed that deep relationships force us to confront the limitations of our persona, to strip away the masks and reveal who we really are. That's why soul connections can feel so intense. They break through the illusion. The shadow. If the persona is what we show to the world, the shadow is what we hide. It's the part of us that we deny, suppress, or refuse to acknowledge. Our fears, insecurities, impulses, even our unrecognized strengths. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When we meet someone who triggers something deep within us, whether attraction, resentment, or admiration, it's often because they are reflecting our shadow. Maybe they embody something we wish we had. Maybe they challenge something we refuse to face. Either way, soul collisions often bring the shadow to the surface. They force us to see ourselves more clearly, whether we're ready or not. Anima, Animus, the hidden feminine and masculine. At the core of Jungian psychology is the idea that we all carry both masculine and feminine energies within us. In men, the anima represents their unconscious feminine side, their emotions, intuition, and deeper connection to the soul. In women, the animus is their unconscious masculine side, their logic, assertiveness, and drive. When we meet someone who profoundly affects us, it's often because they awaken our anima or animus. A man might feel inexplicably drawn to a woman who embodies his anima. She represents something he has yet to integrate within himself. A woman might be pulled toward a man who reflects her animus, stirring something dormant inside her. These encounters can feel intoxicating, overwhelming, because they are waking up parts of us we never fully understood. Complexes, the emotional triggers that shape us. Jung described complexes as deeply ingrained emotional patterns that shape how we react to the world. These aren't just passing moods, they are rooted in our past experiences, our wounds, our deepest fears and desires. Ever wondered why certain people push our buttons so easily? Why a single word, a small action, can feel like an earthquake inside us? That's a complex being activated. And when two souls collide, their complexes inevitably interact. Sometimes, these interactions heal us, showing us where we need to grow. Other times, they create conflict, revealing wounds we didn't even know we had. But either way, they teach us something. The archetypal self, who we are meant to become. Jung believed that at our core, beyond all the layers of ego, shadow, and persona, there is something deeper, the self. This is our highest, most complete form, the version of us that we are constantly moving toward. The problem: we don't always know how to get there. We resist growth. We cling to old identities, old fears. And sometimes it takes another person, a soul connection, to pull us forward. The people who shake us, who challenge us, who make us feel seen in a way we never have before. They are often the ones leading us toward our true self. The primordial fire, the raw energy of transformation. And finally, there's the primordial fire. This is the untamed raw energy of the psyche, the force that fuels change, destruction, and rebirth. It's the passion that drives us, the chaos that breaks us open. Jung understood that transformation isn't gentle. It's not about small, comfortable steps. It's about fire. And what happens when two souls truly connect? That fire ignites. Sometimes it burns away the illusions we held about ourselves. Sometimes it consumes everything we thought we knew. But always, it leaves us changed. So why do some connections feel destined? Why do certain people come into our lives and turn everything upside down? Because when two souls meet, truly meet, it is not just about attraction, coincidence, or shared interests. It is about alchemy. There is a reason why some people shake us to our core, while others leave no mark at all. It is because certain connections are not meant to entertain us, but to awaken us. They arrive in our lives as forces of disruption and revelation, piercing through the carefully constructed identities we have built. They do not care for the ego's defenses, the persona's masks, or the comfortable illusions we live by. Instead, they pull us into something deeper, something raw, transformative, and at times, even painful. Jung believed that every soul connection is, at its core, a mirror. The people who truly affect us, whether through love, conflict, admiration, or even rejection, are reflecting back something that already exists within us. They reveal what we long for, what we fear, and what we have yet to understand about ourselves. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, Jung once said. That is why certain encounters feel fated, because they are not random, they are revelations. But soul connections are not always gentle. Sometimes they come as chaos. They ignite the primordial fire, forcing us to burn away old versions of ourselves. This is why love, when real, can feel like both home and a storm. It is why a single person can unravel years of certainty. It is why some encounters leave us feeling reborn, while others destroy the very foundation we stood on. Because real soul connections do not come to preserve who we are, they come to transform us into who we are meant to be. Jung did not believe in meaningless encounters. Every significant relationship, every deep bond, every soul that collides with ours is a teacher. Some teach us through love, others through loss. Some build us up, others break us down, but all serve a purpose. The truth is, we do not meet people by accident. We meet them when our souls are ready, when something within us calls them forth. And if we listen, if we truly allow ourselves to face what these connections reveal, then we do not just meet another person, we meet ourselves. But here's the thing, soul connections are rarely neat, and they are never final. They are not fairy tale endings, nor do they always fit into the stories we expect. Some people enter our lives for a season, leaving behind lessons instead of permanence. Others stay, evolving alongside us as we both shape and challenge each other. And then there are those we lose, not because they were not meant for us, but because their role in our transformation was complete. Jung understood that the soul is not static, it is in a constant state of becoming. And real connections, those rare, undeniable collisions of energy, are what propel that becoming forward. They strip away our illusions, push us toward the archetypal self, and force us to confront the parts of ourselves we have ignored. As Jung put it, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The people who truly change us are the ones who illuminate that darkness, whether we are ready for it or not. And so, what do we do with this knowledge? Do we run from the connections that shake us? Do we resist the people who mirror our deepest truths? Or do we surrender, embracing the uncertainty, the transformation, the fire? Because once a soul has been set alight, once it has collided with another in a way that alters its very nature, there is no going back. There is only growth, only evolution, only the ever-deepening journey toward who we are meant to be. In the end, every connection that truly matters is a step closer to the self. Every collision, a spark of alchemy. Every soul we meet, a reflection of something waiting to be discovered. And that is why, when the right people come into our lives, whether for a moment or a lifetime, we must pay attention. Because they are never just passing through, they are shaping us. Some souls don't just enter our lives. They awaken something ancient, something essential, something we forgot we were searching for. They don't arrive to complete us. They come to break us open, to burn away the illusions, to make the unconscious conscious. Carl Jung knew that when two souls truly meet, it is never random. It's a mirror, a lesson, a spark of alchemy. So when someone shakes you to your core, don't run, don't numb it. Listen, because in that connection lies the key to who you were, to who you are, and to who you are still becoming. And if that meeting has changed you, it was never just a meeting. It was the moment your soul took its next step toward wholeness. Some people don't come into your life, they come into your becoming. Subscribe, because the journey inward has only just begun.